Good morning, this is Wayne Blau with another smart profit maximizing moment, and I'm running late. Apologies, but the problem with running your own business is sometimes people are waiting for you at the door, especially during tax season. So we're moving pretty well. Anyways, today we're going to talk about help. I just received an IRS audit letter and what you should do about it, all right? And what you should do beforehand to be prepared for it, all right? Again, let me introduce myself a little better. My name is Wayne Belial. I'm a founder of a local CPA firm. We're a small firm. We specialize in small businesses, so it's only fair we'd be a small firm, huh? Anyways, been doing this. I opened my firm in 1991. I started working in CPA firms in the mid-70s while I was in college still. I also am the creator of the Smart Profit Maximizing System, which yesterday I outlined to some degree. All right, sorry, allergies. Wow, we got one of the nice things about El Paso, we don't get a lot of snow. One of the bad things about El Paso is we get dust storms, and we got a little rain yesterday. And it was chilly, and it's still a little chilly today. So apologize for the coat. Walked into the office, we hadn't turned the heater. We turned the heater down too low, or we hadn't turned it on. Understand, first of all, the first thing you must do when you get an IRS audit is the hardest. Don't panic, all right? It's done. It's happening. Let's just get through it as best we can, okay? Now understand, the majority of IRS audits are done by mail. They're focusing on one or two items. Now, another thing to understand is most of those are wrong, all right? I got an IRS letter, had a lady get an IRS letter, said she owed $80,000. She was like in her 80s. It panicked her dramatically. Well, the truth is that she had rolled over an IRA, taken the money and rolled it over, which is totally illegal. But the IRS audit was basically saying, the IRS auditor was saying, let's just check this. Now, the lady's 80 years old, panicked like heck. We fixed it, but it took her a little bit of time. Hey, Dora, how you doing? Nice to see you. Took a little bit of time to fix it, and she panicked, but this was easy. We just had to show proof. Had another one where literally I got a call. We got a $600 and some odd $1,000 bill from the IRS. The husband had been trading stocks, day trading, and since he lost a little money, didn't report it because he figured he lost money. The problem is the sale is reported to the IRS. He had done over $2 million in sales. They calculated the tax, sent him a bill. So understand, just because you get a bill doesn't mean that you really want to start panicking at this point, okay? If it is a field audit, all right, you need to make sure that you get help. I mean, so I remember sitting down at the IRS audit office. I don't do that anymore because I found that to be counterproductive. I either do it correspondence or whatever, but we make sure we don't do that way. But I was sitting there and I was listening to the guy next to me while the auditor was copying some of the papers I had, and she was, questioning this guy. And every time he answered a question, I'm like, oh God, don't say that, don't say that. And it went on, and he just dug himself a grave. I mean, I'm almost afraid to see what the bill was at the end of it, right? So one of the main things is if it is a field audit, don't do it yourself. You don't know what traps they're laying for you. They know the law. They know what they're asking. You don't even have a clue. So you're answering. I have an advantage over the owner. I can act stupid. I do it well, right? So what I mean by that, though, is that if they ask me a question and I need some time to figure out how to put the answer together as in the best way possible, I'm the one that can easily talk to them. And hold on a second, let me see who's here. I apologize, but I thought I locked the door. Somebody came in early. Anyways, I'm the one that can actually sit down and take the time and get them an answer, because I can say, I don't know, let me get with my client, let me find out, okay? Another thing about an audit, you need to make sure you're prepared, all right? Organize your records. Don't show up with a bag full of receipts. Only provide the information that supports your position. Don't turn over stuff that doesn't. Be careful what you give them, okay? And remember, one of the things the IRS doesn't like you to know is you still have Fifth Amendment rights. You don't have to incriminate yourself. It's up to them to prove their case, which is really kind of crazy because, truthfully, the IRS is the one place where it's up to you to prove that what you're doing is legal, all right? It's about the only place in law. Finally, don't automatically agree with what they say. We'll turn it over to appeals. I personally don't go to appeals because, I'm not a lawyer. I had a story of one where I represented somebody at the appeals officer. I presented my case. Guy turned me down. I went with a local lawyer who's one of the best in the country, in my opinion, at defending and fighting the IRS. Is David Leeper. If you need somebody, call him. I don't care where you're at. He'll help you. All right. He used my notes, my information, made the same case. They signed off on it. You know, I'm not stupid, so I kept my mouth shut. We're walking out the door, and I'm like, when we're out in the parking lot, I'm like, David, what the heck happened? You didn't even, you didn't say much different than what I said. He goes, are you a lawyer? No, I'm a CPA. He goes, can you sue him? And I said, not really. He goes, that's what's different. So when you're dealing with the IRS, there's a risk of litigation. So when you're going to appeal, I would highly recommend getting a tax attorney to represent you. It changes the game dramatically. Your local CPA can still do a lot of the work, keep the bill down, because tax attorneys aren't cheap, all right? And make sure you're using them for the right reason, but that's it. My best piece of advice to get help is to get help from a tax person in advance, all right? To be prepared, okay? Most of what I've lost seems to be not on the law, but we can't back something up, all right? So there's 3 things that I would recommend. First, make sure you have your books in place. 2, make sure you have your receipts. Either scan them in, or we got a talk card, a card that QuickBooks has one, and we have a talk card that I know the guy that started this thing. Basically what it does is when you spend money, it automatically sends you a notification to your phone. It asks you to take a picture of the receipt. You do. It turns on the microphone, asks you to describe it, then it saves it online. Heck, if you got QuickBooks Online, it actually enters it right away. All right? So use the talk card. I mean, something like that. If you're interested in it, give me a call. Probably the 3rd thing, mileage. That's one that they just beat you up on. I use MileIQ. It's an app on the phone. The reason I like it, even though it's a paid app, it's not very much. It's like $60 a month or something like that. They may have raised their price. I don't know. I still use it because one of the problems is I jump in the car and I go. I don't even think about the IRS. It's the last thing in my mind, even though I'm a CPA. I'm working on other things. But it automatically tracks my mileage so I can sit down later, even sends me emails and says, hey, you haven't tracked your mileage this week. And I can go back and it shows a map and I can code it, business, not business, so on and so on. So, recap. If you get an IRS audit, don't panic. All right? Get help. Prepare for an audit in advance. All right? Make sure your records are good. Make sure you have the receipts. Make sure you track your mileage. Those are the big things. And then call for help. All right? Hey, until next time, this is Wayne Blau saying let's make this our most profitable year ever. Thank you very much.